What's up, guys? Welcome back to Review Space, and I'm going to review last night's episode of Monday Night Raw, October 22, 2012. Okay, so first up, I want to talk about Vince McMahon announcing AJ Lee as, well, she's going to step down as the Raw general manager. I guess it's just not working out for AJ. I mean, the past few months hasn't been as successful as maybe they wished. Ratings have been falling, and she hasn't really developed a interesting enough character. I mean, I think that she's kind of a fascinating character. That psychotic slash, I don't know, like a devil-may-care attitude. I don't know, it's just a weird character. But it's just not that intriguing. Maybe there's a disconnect with the fans. Anyway, she's going to be replaced by Vicky Guerrero. Oh, man. I mean, if there's anybody that can attract heat, it's Vicky. And you notice, big reaction from the crowd. They really booed the hell out of her when she started talking, and excuse me's and everything. So at least Vicky will develop some sort of heat, or get some heat from the crowd. AJ says farewell, kind of a heartfelt goodbye. It almost felt like she was being fired, and this was like her final appearance. And I don't know what's going to be in store for her in the future. If she'll stay as an on-screen character, or she'll be just, you know, cast aside and she won't be appearing on Raw anymore. Heyman comes out, he wants to be the GM, but Vince McMahon says no. I was hoping that actually Vince would say yes and actually accept Heyman. Heyman dropped the ruthless aggression couple of words there, and it was just like buzzwords going back to the ruthless aggression era. I almost thought, like, man, if Heyman can, you know, direct this show, at least storyline-wise, into a more ruthless aggression style, he would probably make it like the SmackDown era back in the 2002 days. And that's a sign of quality, but of course Vince had to say no. I think maybe some people in the crowd, you know, especially Smarks, were probably wanting Heyman to be the GM, you know what I mean? Alright, as far as the matches, we have Rhodes Scholars, Cody Rhodes and Damien Sandow, against Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara. They actually defeat Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara to become the #1 contender for the Tag Team Championships. Should be interesting. I think that Kane and Daniel Bryan are sort of a, I don't want to say tweener, but they could go either way, either babyface or heel, depending on their opponent. So if it's more of a heelish opponent like Rhodes Scholars, then Daniel Bryan and Kane can be like cheered as the default babyface style tag team. Although I did notice some cheers when Rhodes Scholars won, particularly Damien Sandow. They're not booing him as much, they're actually cheering him. So we have Kofi Kingston against Michael McGillicutty, squash match. Kofi Kingston, new IC champ, easily defeats Michael McGillicutty. Justin Gabriel going up against Antonio Cesaro. This was a big upset. Justin Gabriel hitting the 450 splash on Cesaro, getting the win. I don't know if Cesaro is just there. He's not working out right for WWE, so they might start burying him and start featuring him less. Or this is just a setup for a future like Justin Gabriel United States title run, which is possible. So it's not a good sign for Antonio Cesaro. He hasn't been getting a lot of heat, even though I think he's a really good wrestler. I'm a big fan of Claudio Castagnoli. John Cena cutting a promo to put over Ryback. He was acting almost like a Ryback mouthpiece slash spokesperson. So he was sort of being like the guy who actually does the talking in the promo for Ryback, almost like a surrogate spokesperson promo guy. Because Ryback doesn't have a manager, rather. So Ryback squashing The Miz. Yeah, this was pretty obvious, even though they faced each other already. Not sure why Miz is being put in that spot. Maybe because he's a former, well, they announced he's a former IC champion. So it's almost like, here you have a guy who was an Intercontinental mid-card champion or former champ, and then he was defeated by Ryback, who's going to go on to become, or who's going to go on to face CM Punk for the WWE title. It's like, instead of giving him the IC championship, let's just put him over a former IC champion. It's almost like we don't even need to give him the IC belt. It's like, it's the same thing. Dolph Ziggler going up against Daniel Bryan. Probably the best match of the night. One of the best matches of Raw this year, I think. This was back and forth. Great athleticism. We knew this was gonna be a good match because both are really good in-ring talent and workers. Great moves, great counters. And then the ending was Kane was distracting Daniel Bryan for some reason. He was going yes, yes, yes. Daniel was like no, no, no. And then Ziggler was able to hit him with his finishing move, the zigzag from the second rope, I think. And then there was actually several Dolph Ziggler t-shirts in the crowd, that really bright blue, sky blue, colorful t-shirts. So it's a nice looking t-shirt actually. It's actually pretty cool looking. There was even "This is awesome" chants, clap, clap, clap. So well deserved, good match. Alberto Del Rio going up against Zack Ryder. Alberto easily defeats Zack Ryder. He abused him at the end. He was like, "You're Randy Orton," and makes him. He gives him the submission cross arm breaker continuously and just completely destroy him. Alberto is good, man. I really do like his whole gimmick, and his talent in ring is really good. He just needs a really memorable moment. You know, he just needs that one thing that will ultimately put him over. Because I think the fans and the crowd generally think he's a good talent. Alright, now we have the champion versus champion lumberjack match. Punk against Sheamus. Big Show chokeslammed Sheamus, and CM Punk gets the pinfall. This was a pretty basic match. Really wasn't too much into it. This might have been the weakest match of the night, actually, because it just wasn't that exciting. And it was supposed to be a big deal. The biggest lumberjack and champion versus champion. We've had it before, I think at main event. It was just a throwaway match. It didn't feel special. Ryback came out at the end and totally annihilated CM Punk. Well, actually, no, he didn't annihilate CM Punk. Or, yes, he did. Yes, he did. Because CM Punk would slink away, and then the lumberjacks would just, you know, throw him back in the ring. And then he just kept getting attacked by Ryback. I still think Punk is going to retain Hell in a Cell, but it should be an interesting match at the very least. We'll see what happens, and this is it. Go home show for Hell in a Cell. Coming, I guess it's this Sunday. That's it for this episode of Review Space. Thanks you for watching, and until next time, ciao.